I want you to hear this piece of sound that has been out on the internets for a couple of days now. A Fox News interview. I don't mean in a couple of days. I mean it happened today. A Fox News. See, this is what happens when you take Robitussin. Whew. Don't email me and tell me I shouldn't take it. I know I shouldn't. But if I don't, I'll, be coughing and blah, blah, blah. A Fox News interview with Pulitzer Prize-winning journalist and author Thomas Ricks ended very abruptly after Ricks took not one but two jabs at Fox for being what they are. First of all, they're a crappy-ass television network. They're not a television network. They're a propaganda outfit. And second, they are a teabag propaganda outfit, although Ricks refers to it as a Republican Party mouthpiece. The Republican Party, of course, now is owned by the teabag freaks. But I want you to hear this. This is John Scott, I think, is the anchor. And he's talking with Pulitzer Prize-winning journalist Thomas Ricks. Ricks has covered the military for decades. And ostensibly, he was there about his new book titled The Generals. So Scott, the anchor freak at Fox, asked Ricks to weigh in on the attacks on the U.S. consulate in Benghazi and Senator John McCain's criticisms of UN Ambassador Susan Rice.
Right now, pressure mounting on the Obama administration over its response to the deadly attack on our consulate in Benghazi. As Catherine Herridge reported just minutes ago, several top GOP lawmakers are backing off their criticism of UN Ambassador Susan Rice, instead focusing on the White House. Two senators even expressing concerns about a possible White House cover-up. Let's talk about it with Tom Ricks. He is author of The Generals. He has spent decades covering our military. He joins us now. Senator John McCain has said in the past that he would block any attempt to nominate Susan Rice to become Secretary of State. She's currently the UN ambassador. He seems to be backing away from that. What do you make of it?
I think that Benghazi generally was hyped by this network especially, and that now that the campaign is over, I think he's backing off a little bit. They're not going to stop Susan Rice from being Secretary of State.
When you have 4 people dead, including the first U.S. ambassador in more than 30 years, how do you call that hype?
How many security contractors died in Iraq, do you know?
I don't.
No, nobody does, because nobody cared. We know that several hundred died, but there was never an official count done of security contractors dead in Iraq. So when I see this focus on what was essentially a small firefight, I think, number one, I've covered a lot of firefights. It's impossible to figure out what happens in them sometimes. And second, I think that the emphasis on Benghazi has been extremely political, partly because Fox was operating as a wing of the Republican Party.
All right. Tom Ricks, thanks very much for joining us today.
Goodbye.
You're welcome.
Don't let the door hit you on the ass on the way out. I love it. Yeah, well, you can't blame this little anchor dude, John Scott, for getting his, his bloomers all bunched up. Ricks sits there and just tells the truth. Fox is operating as the wing of the Republican Party. Of course it is. Only it's operating as the wing of the Republican Party that is thoroughly insane and sociopathic. And that is these teabag bastards who, by the way, I just wish they would all go away. Or, like in Passover, I just wish there was an angel of the Lord that would pass over, instead of killing the firstborn in all the households of Egypt, just wipe out all the teabaggers. Just, the terrible swift sword, just shoo, 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 lop their heads off.